All right, was browsing for some Saints content today, and The Athletic had a piece up that said one lingering question for every NFL team entering the season. So what I like to do when I see a story like that is think about my answer to the question before I go read it. And if there's a lot. So when I see one lingering question for the Saints entering the summer months, I'm thinking, okay, is it Shook versus Rattler? Like, is that the angle? I get it. Like, it's probably Shook, but is Rattler really a potential starter for the team? Is that a question? Signing a veteran DB. We've seen a lot of that. They're very young at corner. Do they need to sign someone with a little more size, a little more experience at the cornerback spot? Like, maybe that's it. Is Cam Jordan done as an every down player? Like, we saw kind of a resurgence after Dennis Allen was relieved of his duty last year of Cam Jordan kind of an every down role. And is he going to do that with Granderson and Chase Young on the roster? Like, is that a question? Like, these are the questions that start running through my mind. Of course, you got, can Penning play left guard? Like, that's a question I'm looking at. Is Kamara going to still be asked to carry 90% of the workload? I could see that being a question. There's lots of questions. Is DeMario Davis well past his prime? I could see that being a question. Like, I'm going all over the field looking at questions. None of those questions were the question that Larry Holder presents for The Athletic here. And Larry does an awesome job covering the Saints. But I'll read from Larry's blurb here in the story. Quote, identities for teams often take a minute or two to form. As for the Saints, it feels like part of this team is in rebuild mode, and part of it thinks it's a contender for the NFC South crown. New coach, new coaching staff, new starting quarterback, first-round picks the last 2 years at tackle, but veteran players like Alvin Kamara, DeMario Davis, Cam Jordan from the heyday, and veterans like Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Reed, Brandon Cooks. In a weak NFC South, maybe this team can still be a contender, and yet possibly one bad season away from clearing the deck at quarterback and moving on from many of those aforementioned pieces. End quote. That's what Larry said. And I can read that, and I can make the case for that question. I just hate it. Like, if there's anyone within that organization that has trouble deciphering whether this program is reloading, retooling, rebuilding, restarting, and still competing for championships, they're in the wrong building. Because I don't see how anyone could view it that way. The team was bad last year, fired the coach, the quarterback quit. You picked in the top 10 last year. Vegas says you're a 5-win team. You're probably starting a rookie quarterback. Like, hello? Who in there is determining that they're still pushing for a championship? I got it last year. You've got a coach fighting for his career. You've got a quarterback who's past his prime. Like, you don't really have another option with those guys in September other than, hey, let's go. When everybody on the outside's going, you can't go. You're not going anywhere. That's not the right coach, and that's not the right quarterback. But go ahead. And we saw what happened. It was a train wreck. And they fired the coach, and the quarterback quit. And now you started to see over the last 2 off seasons, the Saints have tapped the brakes on the spending. They haven't unnecessarily hamstrung themselves in years to come. They got a new young coach. They finally drafted a quarterback early in the draft. Like, all of these steps that they're taking indicate, okay, take a step back. We don't have a head coach who knows this is his last chance. In fact, we have the opposite. We don't have a quarterback who knows this is his last chance. In fact, you have the opposite. And so I don't think there should be any confusion. Sure, Cam Jordan and DeMario Davis would like to win the Super Bowl this year for the Saints. Sure they would. And they're going to work really hard to try to do that. Guess what? It's not going to happen. But aside from the aging veterans, and more importantly, with the executives and the coaching staff, everyone should have no question where the organization actually sits at this current juncture. And any sort of thought that could creep into your mind that goes, you know, Tampa's not that great. Like, Atlanta's doesn't look good. I mean, Carolina's still. Well, we met. No, just no. I don't care how good or not good Tampa is. I don't care how good or not good Atlanta is. I don't care that the Panthers are a disaster. That's not relevant. It was 2 years ago. It was last fall. It's not today. You have hit a button that indicates that you're not going to make the playoffs this year. So, despite the fact that you have aging veterans with decorated careers, not even just in New Orleans, he mentioned Tyrann Mathieu, mentioned Brandon Cooks. There is no question here. That question doesn't exist. You don't have to say it to the media. You don't have to. Mickey Loomis, I'm not asking him to come to the microphone and go, yeah, well, we were kind of a disaster the last couple of years, so we're changing everything, and we're not going to be any good, but that's okay. We'll get a high draft pick next year, and we'll see. Like, I don't need him to come to the podium and say that. I need him behind closed doors to go, guys, we've kind of gotten ourselves into a spot that we're not going to be able to get out of immediately. There aren't 4 little tweaks to the salary cap and 1 free agent signing that are going to put us to 12 wins. We're not even close to that. So let's take it slow and find a way back to 12 wins that doesn't involve overpaying long-term deals that hamstring the salary cap years down the road. It doesn't involve a coach fighting for his career. Let's make decisions that are for the health and the youth of the organization. So while I don't have confidence in this Saints team to be good, I do have reason to believe, based on the actual actions of the executives, the coaching staff, and the organization over the last 10 months, that there is no question lingering where the Saints are in relation to the rest of the NFL. So while I do often agree with Larry and think he does an awesome job covering the Saints, I don't think this question applies to New Orleans. I think there is an identity. It's we're getting younger, we're getting cheaper, we're going to spend more time worried about the draft and not trading up, getting rid of 3 assets to move up 9 spots in the first round to take a high relative athletic score defensive end. That day is not today. And that's a positive for the Saints. All of this I'm saying about there not being a question, that's a positive for the organization moving forward. It's a dark time to be a fan because it takes time. It's the only thing that can, time and draft picks. And that's not fun when you're a fan. But there's a light at the end of that tunnel if you do it the right way. There is no light at the end of the tunnel if you never, ever, ever relinquish the dream of competing this year right now. You just have to let that go for a second. And the Saints, I believe, have done that. Internally, not externally, but I believe they've done that to this point. So I don't agree with that being the big question for New Orleans, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. There's not a lot in the last 10 months that I could point to that would suggest that they're still conflicted. They know they got to restart, and I think they have, and that's good for the folks down in New Orleans. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.